Manalo from the Nerds of Color. How are you?
You're wearing our T-shirt.
Nice background.
Totally
I love that you're wearing the fucking
I'm totally
Peacemaker
rocking the
T-shirt.
T-shirt.
I wear the sweatshirt version of that all the time. I love that one.
As soon as I saw it, I just had to get the design. I was like, oh my God, that's awesome.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So cool, man. Look at you.
Thank you. I came prepared.
Yes, you did.
Let me just say that the show is awesome, you guys. I love it so much, and
Thank
you know, everything that was done for the show is absolutely amazing. I'd love to start with Robert, if that's okay. You know, Robert, for my money, you are one of the most legendary character actors working today, with your talent really only being matched by your work ethic. So it's been a pleasure to watch you act and a pleasure to just talk to you right now.
Well, Mike, that's wonderful. Thank you. That's so kind.
Absolutely. If I can ask, it's hopefully it's not too hard a question, but given the incredibly controversial and offensive lines that your character has to deliver throughout most of the script, how difficult was it for you to really just kind of get into this character and to approach it? Did you have a lot of hesitation in doing it?
No, James and I talked early on, and he told me what this guy was going to be like, and you know, I embraced it. I mean, it's a part of the conversation today. It's a part of you know, what's going on out there in the ether. It's so important to tell the story of Peacemaker. The father had to be this horrible abomination, and he's such a repugnant character. You just have to embrace it and go with it. I mean, that's your commitment. That's your job as an actor. You know, you don't always get to pick and choose and play the nice and sweet people all the time. Sometimes you have to go dark and deep. And I felt very, very much an obligation to deliver for Peter and John and James and the rest of the cast.
It is absolutely necessary to hammer that indictment on these issues that we're seeing in America and in the country today. So hats off to you for having the guts to really commit to this role.
No problem. Glad to do it, buddy. Super thrilled to work with James Gunn and that environment too. You know, super excited to work with him.
He's definitely one of my heroes, so I don't blame you for that. For Steve, it is frequently shouted throughout the series that you don't F with John Economos, which is awesome. And seeing John in the field after just seeing him really just stuck in that computer room in the Suicide Squad, it's something that you just didn't expect to have, to see so many badass scenes coming out from him. How did it feel really embracing that action hero side of you, and as you, and not a 7-foot shark?
I mean, this is the most action I've had outside of playing a 7-foot shark, for sure. It was great. I mean, it was amazing, and I really felt it as Steve Agee. I felt like the sheer energy of being able to beat a guy down and go, you don't fuck with John Economos. Because John Economos is a guy who has been fucked with. The whole series, he's being fucked with by Peacemaker, and even his other co-workers are kind of throwing shade on him. And this is him finally just being like, oh my God, I can be a badass. This feels, you know, so earned. And yeah, I completely identified with that. And, you know, it really was, anytime he says you don't fuck with John Economos, he's saying it because he's been fucked with.
That's awesome to hear. And it's really good to see somebody who's been bullied so much just take that stand, you know.
Yeah.
And to see you in action too is just awesome. I just gotta say, there's scenes in there that would make Brian De Palma proud. So I love it. For Peter, I'm not gonna lie here. You are in charge of every single one of my favorite DCEU projects.
That's
like
nice
literally. Aquaman, Shazam, The Suicide Squad, Peacemaker, and I'm so looking forward to Aquaman and Shazam too. I gotta ask you, because there's a couple of people that gotta really be schooled in how to do the perfect DC Comics adaptation. How do you do the perfect DC Comics adaptation?
You know, truly the key is the filmmaker. Honestly, That's the only decision that matters at all at this point. You know, if you have a filmmaker like James Wan, you have a filmmaker like David Sandberg, you got a filmmaker like James Gunn, they have, and Robert makes fun of me, but those guys have real clarity of vision. Like they know what they want. So David Sandberg knew he wanted to make a kind of Goonies, Ghostbusters, Gremlins throwback to the 80s movie with Shazam, which is the eye of the needle's tiny on that, but he knew what he wanted to do. James Wan knew that he wanted to make a big Shakespearean operatic film, you know, spectacle with Aquaman. And, you know, James Gunn wanted to make a 1970s war caper film with the Suicide Squad, and they never wavered from that vision. And so, you know, listen, I think we all make a lot of decisions over the course of making a movie, but the essential one, the one that you can't get around, do you have the right filmmaker? And do you want to tell the right story for the piece of IP that exists? Because not the same tone isn't appropriate for Wonder Woman or Shazam or Aquaman or Suicide Squad. They each need their own vibe. And so to have filmmakers that understand that, and also a studio like DC and Warner Brothers that give you the freedom to not homogenize those IP, you know, that's the key to it. But, you know, so it's all in the hands of the filmmakers. You know that.
Fantastic. And I have one last super quick question for everyone across the board. You know, if you guys could see a spin-off of any other either Suicide Squad members or DC Comics characters and participate in that, you know, spin-off, who would it be? I guess we could start with Robert and then Steve and then Peter.
Well, Eagly should have his own show.
Yes, absolutely.
I purely for selfish reasons, I would say King Shark.
We'd love to see that too. An Eagly and King Shark show, maybe.
Yeah.
Peter, how about you?
I would love to see Weasel and Javelin living together in New York, sharing an apartment as kind of like an odd couple type show. Like almost the whole show just takes place in this apartment that they live in together.
Javelin would be a great spinoff.
Yes.
It could be like Perfect Strangers, you know, with Cousin Balky, you know, I don't know.
I feel like we got a
think it'd
show.
be great.
We got a
Who
show.
doesn't want to see Falula like on their TV?
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
We all need a little bit more Flula in our lives.
Yeah.
I just want to say thank you guys so much for this. This has been amazing. What an amazing show. I can't wait for people to see it January 13th. Thank you guys again so much.
Thanks.
Thank you, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
Fanboys, professional artists, and professors. Maybe a nerd who's just like you, talking about the things that you like too. So I invite you to the NOC. In full color, you see me. The hard knock life. Comics, movies, and TV. Yeah. Pop culture with a different perspective. Watch it on your screen, hit play, so check this.